Welcome, friends. LostScarf here, and it's time for us to have basically a podcast once again with Jon from Killer Bits.
Hiya!
All right, so
it's still basically a podcast. You haven't progressed into it being a full podcast. It's just, it's basically a podcast.
Yes.
I wanted to see what the evolution is since I've been here since inception. I want to see where the evolution goes.
It's a primordial seep going on in here. That's what's for sure. Like if you watch the podcast, aside from the interview ones, it's just they just go where they go, which I enjoy.
It's a journey. It's a journey. And admittedly, you've just had quite a journey, haven't you?
Oh, jeez. Oh, almost dying isn't fun. That's for sure. That's for sure. Oh my god. Not going into that.
Now, this is where we build up intrigue for the audience. They're going to be asking in the comments, well, how did Scarf almost die?
I'd like to know that too. A reminder for the audience, at any time something can take you out, which is ridiculous. My car engine died. Like, driving home, literally a block away before this podcast. Car engine dies, and car goes, "You're not doing anything anymore, boy. You're just riding with me." I'm like, okay.
Why don't you go out and check?
And it's just like, oh. And then to go around, we're like, oh, shit. Oh, that was, oh, man. It's very weird and funny to laugh about almost dying. It really is. But,
well, it kind of puts my day into scale. I had my car in for its repairs, and it was like 200 quid's worth of welding. At least I got it to the garage, and it wasn't an issue of, I was going to get run over on the way back or anything like that.
Yeah, well, that's definitely going to a car place now to look at. Like, what the heck was that about? I have no idea. An engine just cuts out. And I look at him like, oh, it could be a dozen things. Okay, well, we're getting an expert to look at that then, because it's not going to be me.
And it's not like the vehicles in PuBG. You didn't...
Oh, it's not like the vehicles at all in PuBG. Nobody shot the engine out. No one did that.
You mean you don't drive a Dacia Sandero in real life?
Oh, man. I take that vehicle everywhere. Those things are tough.
Built like a tank.
They are. Quick aside right from the start. Bring it to PUBG. Somebody won while AFK.
Okay.
You hear about this?
No, I didn't.
So, this dude, he's playing, and he's got to go to dinner. Right. Funny. He's got to go to dinner, so he's like, all right, I'm just gonna lay down in a tub and go AFK. He picked the perfect place, apparently,
the circle
because...
just squeezed down around him. Right.
The other guy dies to the circle, and he's the winner. He goes to get dinner, he wins a chicken dinner. I'm like, what are you I'm
going to have to try that. My method normally is, non-confrontational, find a spot, just hide there for as long as possible. He's just taking it to the next level by not even being in the room with it.
Yeah. We're on 2017, he's at 30,017, like, he's at 3017. He found it. It's like, what? Are you kidding me? I don't even know. Like, it's funny, like, I was talking with Steve last week for it, and they were like, yeah, emergent gameplay, there's always some random thing. And this one, it was, the dude wasn't even there. He wasn't even there. Are you kidding me?
So technically, is it emergent gameplay if you're not there to experience the story? Is it the whole PUBG is now, if a tree crashes down in the woods, is anyone there to hear it, sort of thing?
Oh my god, that's amazing. That's just amazing. There was an interesting thought to come up for PUBG, and that is PUBG has their peak was 1.34 million players at one time.
It's past Dota now, hasn't it?
Destroyed Dota.
Yeah.
And the thing is, a part of that is bots.
Yeah.
A chunk of that is bots. They're just AFKing to get the coins, to buy the boxes, to sell the things, because you can have
because everyone wants a schoolgirl uniform, don't they?
Yeah. Like, are you kidding me? And so the question is what are they called? Bluehole?
Yes.
Yeah. Is Bluehole being slow to act about that? Because it does bring their numbers up. Like, even if it's just a small percentage, like, is it in your best interest to not necessarily go after them just yet because you already do have a bunch of players? And
it's probably not even the typical Chinese gold farms, because apparently the numbers for H1Z1 have been going up in China steadily since the release of PuBG. So it looks like a lot of people are in China. I don't know whether Korea and Singapore, places like that, but I think China is, because Steam Spy did a graphic on this on Twitter, a few weeks ago. The graph going up. So it's an unusual one. But
that's interesting.
Everyone's trying to get on the Battle Royale bandwagon, though, now, aren't they?
Going over to something else, Fortnite is doing it.
And it's going to be free, and it's out next week.
Yeah.
Do you think they've rushed that through by any chance? I'm really intrigued to know how they're going to monetize that, because they're going to monetize the free version of Fortnite with microtransactions to buy the
those llamas are terrible.
Yeah, the llamas and the coins and that. But surely in a battle royale, you can't do any of that, because then you'll be buying weapons, which is buying power in a game that's supposed to be all about looting stuff. So how are they kind of modeling the free version of it? Is it just going to be as a kind of a loss leader to try and get people into the Fortnite ecosystem so they play the full game? Possibly.
That is a possibility. Yeah, there's always loss leaders to try to get people interested. I don't know though. Like, I'm sure they'll try to find a way, because if there's one thing we've learned from Fortnite, they don't know how to say no. So the second somebody has an idea.
Well, that's another idea. Let's just pile it all in.
Yeah, that's what's going to happen. The second, one idea is going to go in, another idea is going to go in, and they're all going to be in there, and they're just all going to be in there.
Don't worry, there'll be a digital card game version of Fortnite. There'll be a MOBA version of Fortnite. They're just going to cram all the ideas in there. Anything that's popular, we'll just shove into the game. But Fortnite's not the only one. Obviously, was it about a month ago now? GTA shoved their own battle royale version in. Was it Motor Wars? And
I remember hearing about that. I don't know much about it though.
No, I've not played GTA for ages. And I kind of stay away from the GTA Online as it is anyway, because not the most pleasant community, is it really? But
Nope. Nope. I played against it. Nope.
But all the big companies are going to be jumping on the Battle Royale bandwagon, because it's the same thing that happened with, League and Dota. Everyone has to make a MOBA. Happens with Hearthstone. Everyone has to make a CCG. It is the new thing that everyone's going to jump. And people are speculating, well, what is the next game that's going to have it? And it is kind of fun to think, what games would work with a battle royale? And people have put forward stuff like, well, is Red Dead going to have it? Can you ride around with your own posse? But I'm thinking, well, how are you going to land in? Because I don't think they had parachutes in the Old West, really.
I think a way you could do it would be... no, that doesn't make any sense. I was thinking zombie cowboys to just come out of whatever random grave areas. But there's... It leads to a bigger question, I think, is... Before PuBG happened, it was the question of what's going to be the next big thing. Because... Prior to that, what we could argue was MOBAs. With Dota and League and HOTS and all those.
So many.
Hearthstone made a lot of money for Blizzard, but it wasn't like a big... people still copy it because people like card games, but it wasn't like this big explosion thing like PuBG has been.
I don't know. It's had plenty of people trying to replicate it.
You mean Hearthstone or...
Yeah, people are trying to be replicating Hearthstone.
Oh, yeah.
So it's...
I think it's because... It was the first really good one.
Yeah.
Before
that, it was Magic. That was it, really, wasn't it?
Before that was Magic. And on a digital scale, what? They were usually side games like Pazak and KOTOR and Gwent. Well, Gwent now it's actually worthwhile. But It's always card games have been the side game. That's what it is.
Yeah.
I like to see a card game where the side game's an RPG.
that is the next level. That's the next thing we're gonna see.
But like, yeah, like Hearthstone was good for it, and we've seen other ones try to be Hearthstone, but like Hearthstone never exploded the way PuBG has or the way MOBAs have.
Yeah.
And I remember like there was like The Culling, and people were like, "Ooh, this is not bad," like this arena shooter thing, and then of course H1Z1, King of the Hill. And
I mean, it kind of started really with DayZ as well, I suppose. Yeah. But it's just strange, you know.
Yeah, it started with DayZ.
PUBG, when you boil it down, is not that dissimilar from, you know, H1Z1 and Culling. So you have to get into the mind of, well, why has it blown up in the way it has? And I suppose, you know, a big part of it is the streaming community is just taking it to its heart. So it's one of those. Technically, it's still an indie game, and it's in early access, and it's still developing and things like that. So it's not had this huge marketing push behind it. It is the community that has made it as popular as it is, and people are buying it because they're seeing all these streamers play it, or you know, and now it's basically coming in its own ecosystem. You know. People have brought it because they saw streamers playing it, and then their friend said, "Oh, well, you're playing it. I have to get a copy now." And their friend, and now we're at like 10 million units sold or whatever it is in 6 months or something.
This is ridiculous. I remember when PUBG was first coming up, and they were offering codes for it and things. I was like, "Well, whatever. No one really cares. Whatever." And now it's like, "Can we get a code?" It's like, "No,
you're gonna have to buy it yourself."
Pretty much. But I remember it was like yeah, it's just another King of the Hill, whatever. But it blew up, and yeah, sometimes that happens where a game you don't see coming just explodes, or a game you thought was going to be really good dies, which is, I guess you can call that the Titanfall syndrome. Really, it's poor Titanfall getting that moniker. Like Titanfall had happened, For Honor, Evolve, Battleborn, games that had promised that. Did not make it.
And it is all about timing as well, I suppose, because especially stuff like Battleborn and that, it just was badly timed. It was never going to beat Overwatch, and it was just, you know, but I think PUBG just came out at the right time. It must have been a really quiet month, and everybody jumped on this new thing, and like I said, it just blew up.
I don't think there was anything to compete with, really. I can't think of anything.
It was February, March. It kind of.
Yeah, and like what's there?
I mean, we did have a strong start to the year, but I can't think what was out more or less at the same time.
Breath of the Wild, Horizon Zero Dawn was around that time, right? I think, and that's it. Like those two took the lion's share of anyone's interest at that time. Was those two big games,
and they're console games. So the PC
was it
community.
Uncharted 4? No. Okay, no. Uncharted 4 is during Battleborn.
Yeah.
But yeah, those are console games. Yeah, so what did PC have, right? Yeah, I don't... So, there were games, but I can't remember them right now.
That's one for your viewers to have a look and tell us what else came out at the same time so we can actually go...
Yeah, that's a good one.
This is community involvement. We've got to get them working for us, surely.
There you go, yeah. Like, I talked about it with Steve. I don't know if you saw that part. I'm like... Something worth considering is with your community is whenever you do a highlightable thing, like they highlight it, and just gather them all together and download them and just make a montage with all that. That could be fun, I think.
Because that could be very engaging. They're good at calling us out when we screw up, aren't they?
Yes. Oh god. XCOM. XCOM would be the most amazing blooper reel because everything goes wrong. It's like, all right, we're in a good position here. Everything's fine. Okay, I'm just going to move this character here. Oh, look, I woke up every group. They're all here now.
Every pod, yeah.
Oh, no. Especially with the new, like the Lost. Oh, my God. You think you're fine? It's like, oh, what do you know? There was a horde here and here.
And you don't want to load that grenade in there, do you?
Oh, jeez. Oh, by the way, I forget that detail every time. Like, oh, there's 4 of them together. Grenade. Oh, hey, now
there's 16.
Yeah. Oh, right, that's a thing. Maybe I shouldn't have brought a bunch of grenadiers to a freaking Lost mission. Holy crap. Oh man, like XCOM2 War of the Chosen is so good. Like,
I'm still yet to play it. I'm just living vicariously through people's streams and videos.
Like, did you play 2 or see?
Yes,
or see the original? Okay, like it reworked so much. Like it's an It's basically what.
Well, they've said this was like just one step shy of being XCOM 3.
Yeah, pretty much. It is basically Enemy Within.
Yeah.
Like what Enemy Within was to Enemy Unknown, that's what War of the Chosen is to XCOM 2. It changes a couple things, but actually way more fundamentally than Enemy Within even did too, really.
Yeah.
Because there's so many things to do, it's really fun. I think XCOM 2 was okay. I liked it, but I thought it was okay. I would have probably preferred XCOM 1. But after this blows 1 out of the park for me. It really does. Because there's so much to play with going on with the War of the Chosen.
I think the only reason it wasn't XCOM 3 is because they set up the end of XCOM 2 to basically do, what was it, Terror of the Deep or something.
Really? I don't remember the end of 2 right now because it's been a while.
Yeah.
But oh my god, if it says up Terror of the Deep, because I remember playing that a long time ago.
I'm pretty sure it was set up so it would launch Terror of the Deep and that, so I think that's where they're going with it.
That'll be interesting because we've been doing aliens for a while. Terror of the Deep would be very interesting. That's what it's sea aliens or sea. I don't remember what Terror of the Deep monsters were, but you had to deal with that, and that was interesting. That's like what 10, 15, 20 years ago. My god,
something like that. Something ridiculous.
I played the original XCOM. Oh my god. God,
how many hours spent crafting med packs before you went out on a mission? Have I got enough?
Oh man, you never have enough in that game. I don't even know how people beat it back then because like whatever young age I was, there was no way I was smart enough to beat that game. There was no way. Oh man, but XCOM 2, War of the Chosen, recommended for sure.
That's one of those when I have money, when I'm not spending 200 quid on getting the car repaired.
Yeah,
and let's face it, we're almost at the end of September, and that means we are getting ready for the big push, aren't we?
Yeah. If you're doing Shadow of War, if you're doing
which
Destiny 2,
you vowed off now because of all the microtransaction bullshit.
Yeah, all that, they've killed my goodwill for that.
Yeah.
The last straw for me, honestly, was, which is the weird last straw.
Yeah.
And that was the giveaway, not the fundraiser orc.
Oh, yes.
Can't remember his name. That was the last straw for me because it was like, only in the US.
Yes, and only in what, like 46 states?
Yeah,
or not even
40,
the whole of it.
Yeah, only like 43, 42 states or something. Because I could have sworn it was like 6 names or 7 or 8 states. And like, okay, so the majority of America and nowhere else
in the world.
So if you buy that thinking you're doing something for this family, you're not. It all goes into that pocket.
The devs responsible for it just wanted to kind of honor their friend. So why not just put it in? No, Warner go, right, money.
Pretty much. Which is so, like, all the goodwill's gone for me. Yep. It's all gone. And I side with the statement of, if you just have a job, if you have a life that's outside of gaming, and you just want to play a cool game, have at it.
Yep.
Good for you. For the gaming community, it's something worth taking a stand on, because that is BS. Yep. That is really bad BS.
I'll get it when it's $3.99, like most recent Shadow of War.
Game of the Year edition, and like, oh god, that's such a good deal. Shadow of Mordor.
And isn't it on Humble now? The newest Humble bundle. It's on
the newest Humble. Yeah. Do not pre-order, by the way. For $80 on Humble Bundle, you can pre-order Shadow of War and get a shirt. I'm like, no. Don't do that. By the way, it's a really good bundle, though. That's a really good bundle.
Yeah.
Humble Bundle does amazing bundles. Here's what I've learned. Doing giveaways, if you ever do giveaways, just buy through Humble, not through Steam.
Yep.
Because Humble's gift codes can work internationally. With certain countries, they still can't. But Steam at this point is like, we don't want you to do that anymore.
Well, they're basically cracking down for, everyone buying it in Russian rubles or Indian rupees or whatever.
And that's why they did that. And so I have like Canadian friends who are like, what the hell? I can't buy a gift for my American friends and vice versa.
Yeah.
But Humble Bundle, you can buy on Humble and you can gift it through there, and it will go between US and Canada. So from this point on, any giveaways we do, unless it's a Steam code directly, I think it's smarter to just buy through Humble and send over. So that's just the smart thing, because you never know if your viewer's international until you find out.
Yep. And let's face it, buying stuff on Humble is also... You get the warm, fuzzy glow when you actually tick the box for, I'm going to send 10% to this to charity as well. So,
Yep, that's
and the fact is,
well.
last time I actually brought something on Humble, you go through, okay, let's have a look at the different charities that are available. It's pages and pages of one. So if there's any charity you want to support, it's liable to actually be on there.
Yeah, remember when it was only, what were they? It was the Penny Arcade one, and I think it was one more.
Yeah.
It was just those two charities. And now it's like everybody.
Yep.
Like if there's any, like, I guess it was in case you didn't like Penny Arcade, I guess. Like, here's other options. Like, Penny Arcade's charity is a pretty cool charity, though. But, well, if you don't know what that charity is, the charity is, it's gaming for kids in hospitals and stuff like that. It's for kids in hospitals, and I don't remember it's also for kids that are less fortunate, or if that's a different charity. But it's basically, it's bringing gaming to kids who they're just stuck in bed at a hospital. They got nothing else they can do. That's what that charity was, and it's a pretty nice charity there. And now there's a bajillion charities, though.
Yep.
But this does lead to a question I just thought of that right now, and that is charity streams and charity just videos.
Yeah.
Like, thoughts on that, and also... just doing that. Like, my experience is I haven't done one, because I'm like, well, I don't really know, like, who really has money to do that, or, like, how popular do you need to be before you should do that, and things like that. And I was part of Athene, that's his name, the man who does all the donation streams ever.
Yeah.
Which is Athene on Steam, on Twitch.
Yeah.
I'm like he has this whole group where everyone can do it through him. I'm like, well, like, how big should I be to even do it? Because what if I do it and, like, only 10 people show up and nobody donates, and then everyone just feels like crap or something?
Yeah. I mean...
So it's a question of how big you need to be.
I've not done it because I admittedly, I haven't got the biggest community on Twitch. I've only really been doing it for the past month or so. But I would certainly consider doing it if it was, like, one of these 24-hour streams, but you take a 2-hour shift with a whole bunch of other people. And that I can see works well. It kind of spreads the community, gets people involved from all corners of the world, and it's not just one person killing themselves for a 24-hour stream or something. So I know why people do it. Some people do it genuinely to, actually back a charity they are dedicated to. Other more unscrupulous ones just do it as oh, look, I'm being all charitable and all that kind of thing. You can tell those a mile off normally. But I'd like to, but I don't have the stamina to do a 24-hour stream, and I know I haven't got the size of community or anybody like that to actually, make it viable. I don't think me killing myself for 24 hours for, maybe a $5 is really going to help any charity. But I would certainly get involved with, a group charity type one, and I can see the benefit to them, but it is very much situational, because it's one of those things you never know how it's going to play out. But
yeah, like that's how I feel. Like, you need to have a good sized community to do it. If you're going to do it solo, you need a good sized community, and because. Yeah, it's got to be worthwhile. You're putting in the time for it, and to actually, you want to give some money to the charity that's worthwhile. Like, any bit counts. Any bit is good, of course.
Yep.
Any bit is good, even $5. But you want to have a good enough sized community that when you get the ball rolling, you'll get a lot going on, and then it's actually a worthwhile thing for everybody. Yeah, you can use it for promotion, which is really not why you should be doing it, of course. You should be doing because you really believe in the charity. I never thought about a team charity, though. That's actually a good idea. I never thought about, like, you do a couple hours, someone else does a couple hours. Because what that does is that brings different people in.
Yeah, exactly.
Instead of only your community. So that's actually very smart. That's actually a good idea.
Because, I mean, the last one I saw doing that is... Have you heard of the charity Checkpoint? Nothing to do with Steve. Nothing to do with Steve. No, nothing.
Poor Steve.
No, this is a mental health charity. Was established about a year or so ago by somebody I actually know, Dr. Jennifer Hazel. And she basically looked into the kind of psychology behind, how games and gamers suffer with mental health and how games can actually help. And she basically did a Kickstarter, and she's currently recording the series at the moment. It's definitely worth checking out. Lots of backing from journalists, developers, content creators, she's done interviews with people from Naughty Dog, a whole bunch of developers. Go check it out. Definitely go check it out. It is definitely worth it. And she kind of kicked off the Kickstarter campaign with a 24-hour stream, but she brought in a load of different streamers and YouTubers and that. So there's people like Bear Taffy, Zero Doxy, Josh from Gaming FTL. A whole bunch of people got involved, and they were all doing this like little 2-hour section here or 3-hour section there, and it just got like a wider community involved in this idea because the whole idea behind the charity was reaching out to the whole gaming community and raising the issue of mental health and how games can help, and also the issues of developers going into crunch and that not sleeping for weeks on end trying to do this. It is all a mental pressure and things like that. So yes, definitely go check that out, folks.
Wow, yeah, worthwhile. That's it helps a lot of people. Like, gaming does help people out for a lot of things, and so that's cool. That's pretty cool right there. And then compilation, all that. Just the quick aside of for a historical note, you can use charity things to drum you up.
Yeah.
To just get people more interested in you. Like, the most famous example I can give is Pearl Jam. They're like, this just gets them press, and since it's all charity money, they don't have to pay for anything.
Yeah.
And that helped them get it helped them get really popular without having to spend any money, is how they started up, which is very interesting. Because it's a thing you can do. But I guess morally, I'm like, you can't do a charity stream just to get popular. It's such a weird thing to do.
That's one of those, it gets very icky. If you're doing it for that reason alone, it needs to be a kind of a cause you feel strongly about and need to get involved because you believe in it.
And it's just icky with the whole, depending on your charity and people accusing charities. Like, there's people who just think charities are scams. They don't think it's a real thing. Yeah. And that's not a fun group to deal with. And what an interesting thing is, because of streamers, there's something that Athene had to do where he's like, okay, guys, geez. Yeah, I get it. It's your audience. There's only so much money they have. And if they're paying for this donation, then they're not donating to you. So Athene had to do a thing where he's like, okay, some of the charity money, my own money I'll spend will go to you guys as well. Cause that's money. Essentially, some people were arguing it was money out of their pocket. Going to the charity. And it's like, well, then don't do a charity stream.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know, but it was him trying to, because he tried to build up this entire network of charity people, like, to get a bunch of people interested in just doing charity streams, because just the more people help out, the better it is. And so whenever there's a disaster, he would call on everyone to try to do that. It was an interesting idea, very ambitious. But he had hiccups like that. And it's like, well, if they feel that way, maybe they shouldn't be on the team. I don't know. Yeah.
But I mean, there is also the point that, basically YouTubers and streamers are the next, TV celebrities. And we've seen TV celebrities use their kind of popularity to raise awareness about causes they want to talk about. So it makes sense that there are people in the community out there that want to use this platform, use their community and the people they know and the work on the causes they want to work on. So it makes sense that, YouTube and Twitch is the next TV. So the celebrities of that platform are going to use their soapbox to kind of shout about the charities and causes they want to shout about.
Mm-hmm. It's at the point of, and we're going to always see this pushback, is like, is like the whole argument of you're an entertainer, you shouldn't be talking about politics, you shouldn't be talking about religion, or you shouldn't be talking about any of these big topics. It's like, well, they're also a human being.
Yeah.
They have to talk
Yeah.
about these things. Like,
these are people,
Like-
not automatons. Even though YouTube's ad policy may want them to be.
oh,
You
God,
can't
the
talk about
algorithms.
politics, religion, sex, anything.
The problem is things are so big they have to use algorithms, but these algorithms need to be a lot better than they are.
They need to have, like, the human touch, maybe?
Like, it needs human tweaking here and there, I guess, or just, I don't know, a quality check on the algorithm, because you can't just have the algorithm go and say, we're blameless, it's the algorithm.
Yep.
No, it's your algorithm.
Yeah.
Your
You
algorithm.
designed it. You fixed the problem. If it's a problem, you fix it.
Yeah, like, the companies have to take the lumps as they're trying to make the algorithm worthwhile. It's
Yeah.
on them, because, well, they're making a lot of money off this beast they've created. Now
Yeah.
they need to figure out how to color it. Like, it's as simple as that.
But let's face it, the announcements of the last couple of days, admittedly, this is going out a week later, pretty much indicate they're not going to fix the problems. They're just going to kind of, okay, well, let your community sort it out instead, because YouTube has introduced sponsorships.
Yep.
It
Now-
looks very familiar to anybody who's been on Twitch before, doesn't it?
Very, very. Now, I what's the word here? Skimmed this? I'm like, whoa, this looks very... Okay, I'm like, it's basically Twitch. All right, moving on. I'll read on this deeper later, but I think you did read a bit more than me on it. So
Yeah, I'm going to see if I can bring up the details. But no, if you're at all aware how the Twitch partnership schemes work, it is pretty much the same. It's, the same kind of price. It's, $4.99 if you're in the States. It's £4.99 if you... I mean, they are doing the regional variants, and it's not just $5. But for that, you get... I'm going to try and bring it up, if I can find it somewhere. You get a badge that you can give to your community, and anyone who's a sponsor will get this badge in chat, and they also get emojis that they can use in chat, and you can have special exclusive sponsorship chat and all this. Obviously, they're pushing heavily on the live streaming, but it does work for standard
Yeah.
YouTube videos as well.
yeah, what you told me, which I didn't know, I thought it was only for the streaming, is it also works for just the channel, which
Yep.
it's like, well, there's no reason not to try to get in on this then. Like, there are people who just aren't Twitch people, they are YouTube people.
Yep.
So there is possibility, there is more room to gain from here, but it's also YouTube.
So we're just waiting for the other shoe to drop, and how are they going to screw this up? Because
Basically.
at the moment, this has only been, in the news and available for about 24 hours. I'm still digging through and trying to work out what's the ad revenue split. Because YouTube are going to certainly take a cut somewhere. And reading kind of the terms and conditions thing I had to sign to actually get the thing activated, it appears to be YouTube are taking 30%.
Huh.
So I can't be sure on that. I want some kind of double verification on that. But it also strikes me, how does this work with people that are in MCNs? Because does this go through the standard ad revenue type thing? So is the money just basically going to go straight from YouTube into the MCN and then get divided off? Or is it going to be like two separate things? So is it a case of that $5 you're giving to somebody to sponsor them, YouTube takes 30%, and then the MCN takes their percentage, and then you're only really giving the actual YouTuber a couple of dollars?
I don't even know if any MCNs are worth being a part of anymore.
One maker unceremoniously gave me the boot without any notification. I still don't like you for that.
Wow.
Yeah, didn't even get an email. It just got switched off one day. That was it.
Jeez.
So
I don't even know if they're worth it anymore. Like, if it's an MCN that will nurture and grow you, sure, but I don't know if those even
do any
exist.
exist? Yeah.
Like Maker at a time seemed like they were the ones who were doing it because when it was the TGS podcast, it was the main three and then someone else on there.
Yeah.
And they also did cross things. where they tried to do cross promotion, where they had people who weren't normally together be together on something. They did this when they were Polaris. That's how you got like Jesse Cox and PewDiePie together, and other people and PewDiePie together.
Yeah.
Just people you don't normally see together, mostly with PewDiePie, because he's the big one. And he's not with Maker anymore, right? Like,
no, that was really what kicked off the adpocalypse. You know,
yeah,
him doing the whole Fiverr thing, then the Wall Street Journal, and then the adpocalypse happened.
Oh yeah, yep. And with more recent thing, we can move over to this.
No hard R's, remember? No hard R's.
Yes, no hard R's. No hard R's. Even if it was the lighter one, it's still not something for him to say. But this comes down, and this shows that I don't really understand copyright strikes. Firewatch happens. Firewatch,
Yep.
was it, I was gonna say Dos Santos. Campo Santos?
Campo Santo, yeah.
Yeah, Campo Santo. Love their games, really good game,
Yeah.
but they're like, we understand we've made money off PewDiePie's video, but we can't stand with him anymore. It's not good for our image that we have a video with him on it, and so we're gonna copyright strike him. And it's like, and my understanding was when a copyright claim happens, you just get rid of the video, or you contend it. You say like, no, it's within my rights.
Yeah.
And then it's up to YouTube whether or not you get struck or not. I thought that's how it works. So if they come to me, I'd be like, all right, the video's gone. Sorry, I pissed you guys off somehow. My bad. But okay, the video's gone. So because I don't want a freaking strike. I don't know if that's actually not how it works, because I would assume PewDiePie would just get rid of the video so he doesn't get a strike, but he just has a strike now.
Yeah.
So I guess I don't know how this whole thing works. How do you think, or do you know how it works?
Well, only vaguely. It's one of those. It's that whole kind of grey area. Unless you're Leonard French and you're a copyright attorney, I'm not going to get involved in it.
Geez.
But it is, you know, there are different levels of strike. You know, you've got, you know, you got your takedown and things like that. You've got, you know, the music copyright ones that go, right, well, we're going to take the money for it. You know, anything with a Kanye West song in is just going to get blocked anywhere in the world. You have copyright strikes that kind of block the video completely or take it down, remove it. You have also YouTube has their social copyrights, not copyright, but social strike type one.
Yeah, I think it's community strike.
Community strike, that's it, yeah.
Okay. Because that's what happened over Doom.
Yep. So there are all these different type of ones, but when the whole thing with Campo Santo issuing the strike, DMCAing Pew's video on Firewatch, and it got took down, people were up in arms going, oh no, you can't do this. All the legal experts are going, well, yes, even though it's on their website, you know, can I make the money on my video of this? Mm-hmm. Yes, fine, we like that, like people making videos of our games. That is not classed as a blanket permission because it doesn't say, you know, forever and always, and there is no chance of it being revoked.
Yeah.
So it's all the typical kind of legalese. There's always ways of, you know, unless it's written in a cast iron contract with no loopholes, you know, the person that owns the game can take away that right at any point. But it, you know, from a content creator point of view, it is a little worrying, you know. It would only take one of the big companies, you know, an Activision, somebody like that, to say, no, we don't want people making money on, you know, Call of Duty videos, or, you know, Microsoft now own Minecraft. Just imagine if they suddenly said no.
Ooh.
Would that just kind of kill YouTube completely?
Yeah. This
How
has
many
happened,
Minecraft videos are there?
Like, okay, so this happened with Sega.
Yep.
This is why Total Biscuit completely swore them off for years.
Yep.
Is because they struck everyone down who had...
Or is it Shining Force videos?
I think it was Shining Force, which, that hurts me because I love Shining Force. They struck everyone down who had Shining Force, and this killed channels. It killed channels. just so they could have better search results
Yeah,
for
they
people
just
to
wanted
find
to
their
get their
game.
videos higher on the search ranking. That was the only
like,
reason they did it.
And so you had people like Total Biscuit just like completely swear off. And that's the scary thing, which we're reminded of, is that at any time a company can go like, no, no, we're not okay with you with our stuff. And it's like, well, I'm not. I wasn't scared. I wouldn't necessarily be scared until I remembered the Sega situation, because for the most part, I think we're in an age where most gaming companies recognize like this is a way of advertising, and it's mostly you have just a good relationship, a cordial relationship, form a relationship with companies as you make videos with them and everything. There you go. It's not like the Jim Sterling situation with that company no one cares about anymore. They're gone.
Not gonna say it. Not gonna say it. Not gonna say it.
Because it's not the same situation as Campo Santo. It's a very different situation. And that one, that was more of a like, because it was criticism from Jim. It wasn't it was criticism and just showing and everything. It wasn't him doing what they were arguing he was doing. It's not what it was.
This is the whole thing. You know, generally, Let's Plays don't fall under fair use. This is the whole thing, because they aren't, you know, parody, criticism. There's like 3 or 4 different tiers of, you know, what can be classed as fair use. Something like that Jim Sterling does, because, you know, he is a trained journalist. He is, you know, doing a proper critique of the game or things like that. Then yes, his work is definitely covered by fair use. Somebody just doing a Let's Play isn't, because they are just, it is transformative because they're putting commentary over the top of it, but it's not adding to kind of the actual video and the kind of the conversation behind it. It's not a critique and things like that.
Yeah.
Obviously, we did have, as you know, a community as content creators, a big kind of victory. What is it? Less than a month ago now with Ethan Klein, H3.
H3.
There's something on the law books now to say this is protected under fair use because it ticks all these boxes. But their video was very specific. It was analyzing another person's video. It was using their content in context and providing commentary on it. It wasn't just a reaction video of just some, you know, webcam in the top corner of a video playing and just occasionally saying something. It was an analysis. So at the end of the day, it's a little uncomfortable knowing any game developer can pull the rug out from under our feet by just saying, no, we don't want these videos being monetized anymore.
I'm at the point where I feel like we should be safer now, because it's been years since the Sega one.
There's got to be some sort of grandfather clause in there somewhere, isn't there?
Like, just the whole, what's it called? Like an unspoken deal going on where no company should be trying to just do a big swath hit like that, because if they do, the community is going to look out for each other a lot strongly now than back then, because it's gotten more powerful. It's not like we're a damn union, but people look out for each other a little bit more and
start like review bombing Steam.
Oh god. Oh yeah. Speaking of that,
segue. See, I'm here to help with these segues.
We're doing pretty good on this. Like, it shows we've been doing this together for a little bit. Like, but yeah, this is something that's very new right now. My understanding is, well, you can explain it instead of me explaining it. You can explain it better.
Okay. Well, Steam have taken notice that people review bomb games that they don't like when the developer says something or changes something. I mean, there's a lot of review bombing of GTA a while ago, and the whole Pewd thing happened, and a load of his fans went and review bombed Firewatch. So what's Steam's answer for this? Add graphs. So
the power of graphs.
Yeah, the whole thing is obviously, normally you go to a Steam store page and you can see whether the rating is positive or mostly positive or negative. And the whole review bombing thing is, you know, this hundreds, thousands of people adding negative reviews to a game in a short period of time. they've come up with the idea of showing a graph of this sudden spike, because that will help inform the customers. Well, people are probably intelligent enough. If they're looking at reviews, they'll actually read them, and if they're all just one-word reviews of, "Oh, I don't like what the developer said," it's you read any Steam review now. It's you have the idiot reviews go. I mean, I did a review on Steam a couple of days ago for Atomega. I admittedly I gave it a negative review because I'm not downvoting the game. I'm downvoting the fact that, unfortunately, it's not really going to be worth your money spending on it because it's not got the player base, and that's basically because Ubisoft haven't promoted it. But then again, you look at the other negative reviews and people have gone, "Oh, it's a Ubisoft game equals poop." That was literally Ubisoft game equals poop. That's not an intelligent conversation.
Automega's it's fun. It's fun. Like,
it's just unfortunate that they haven't done anything to actually promote it, and it's a multiplayer game.
Yeah, it's the weird thing with it is Steam reviews are, do you recommend it, do you not recommend it, and why? That's all it is. And
it's
some
binary.
People make
there
jokes.
Is no neutral. There's no nuance there.
Yeah, there's no nuance. There's no scoring system of any kind. People will still give a score in their review if they want. And you have people who make jokes. They say a bunch of different things. There's just different things going on with it. And it's just, do you recommend it or not? That's the thing about it is do you recommend it or not? That's really what it is. And people can have all sorts of reasons why. Like, you got your reasoning is, there's not going to be a player base, so forget it. Because Ubisoft just hasn't done enough to push it. And if there's no one pushing it, there's no player base to play with. For me, I'd be like, I'd give it a caveat. I'd be like, I recommend it if you have friends.
Yeah.
Like, if you're trying to play with randos, forget it. Not for you. If you have friends and you all buy into it, this could be a fun time. Like, and that's something you can't really do with the Steam thing.
Like, no, there's no nuance there.
Caveat, you can't nuance it. You can't be like, there's this caveat. So it's on the person where you can say no unless this situation, or you say yes unless this situation. It's on you whether you want to do up or down on that. And then there's the whole, did you get it before? Did you get it for free? Because you're not even weighted, if I understand correctly, if you got it for free.
No, yeah,
they don't even care.
If you get the Steam. If you get a Steam key and it's activated, so I don't know even if that counts for if you get it at Humble, because technically you're getting a key that activates.
Oh.
You're not buying it through the Steam store. Anything you write on there, obviously your review is listed, but it's not actually counted in the, this game is mostly positive and mostly negative.
Yeah.
That isn't weighted now. They did actually change that.
I have not seen the graph yet because I was just looking. I didn't see the graph anywhere. Like, they're still implementing it, right?
It's literally a day or so they've done that.
I'm hoping you don't have to scroll down to see it, because
it's
without scrolling,
it's just above the kind of the Steam reviews and that.
Okay, because without scrolling down, you can see positive, mostly positive, or whatever, right there in the top right corner. And at least what they did a little bit eventually was, for a long time, it was just whatever it is. And then they made it, here's what it was overall, and here's what it is recently.
Most recently, yeah.
Yeah, and now with this chart, that gives more information, so I think that's better. More information is always good, because you can't just rely... Well, more information where people will look is good. Because people can be lazy, like, they're just like, okay, here's the reviews, and then they don't actually read any of them. Yeah,
but that's... People are, in general, lazy, because even, reviews in what we call old media, your classic written review, how many people just skip to the end, the last two lines, and the score? Exactly. Because people just want it all summing up for them in a nice, easy bundle. And, if it's in a number that out of 10, they can go, oh, right, okay, well. People don't look for kind of a balanced argument anymore, really.
Pretty much. I'd be tempted to just do a pro-con summary and score, and that is all you do as a review kind of thing.
Yeah.
Because, you don't care anything else. I already know it. So here's what I think.
I can spend hours playing this game, writing a whole essay about it. No, all you care about is the number at the end of the...
It's something I've considered, like doing like a 2-minute review or something. Like, here you go, but I would get complaints if that's not enough information, and I agree.
Yep.
But I've been tempted to because I know our attention spans are getting shorter, and it's really frustrating because I love reading essays of things because I like reading Jim Sterling. I really like reading his reviews. They're pretty good. Sometimes they're dumb because that's how Jim Sterling is. But the most time they're pretty well thought out. The greatest thing about Jim Sterling is he always backs up what he's talking about with evidence.
Yeah.
Or just where he's coming from. He'll give you more than just, here's what he thinks. Here's what he thinks, but here's more of why that's what he thinks. And that's pretty good. When he did the whole, the Zelda review, I read, I'm like, okay, all right. He's making a lot of valid complaints. For me, I forgave them. They weren't bad enough to make it a not 10 out of 10. For him, it was bad enough to not make it a 10 out of 10. And people lost their damn minds. I thought he was well argued. I just did not agree with some of his complaints. That's how I felt about it. That was the same thing with his Dishonored 2 review and a couple others. It's just... you're meant to read it so you get an idea of whether or not you should actually care about this person's review. Because even with like Polygon, sometimes they send in the guy who has no business doing that game. And if you read his essay, like you're like, yeah, I don't care what your number is because I realize you're actually not the guy who should be reviewing this. Same thing for IGN, and same thing for Kotaku. God dang, all of them. Because it's about just getting reviews out. Like, it's not about setting the right guy. It's about just getting the review out. But, yeah.
And don't worry, there's going to be more of that over the next couple of months because how many games are going to come out over the next 2 months?
Shadow War, Destiny 2, Wolfenstein. Well, these are the ones. Okay,
these are the ones on your list.
On my list. Was on my list. Shadow War was on the list. Destiny 2 is. Wolfenstein is. Odyssey. Gonna go back and get Rabbids.
What? Mario's nipples.
From that direct, it was gonna be King DDD. Buff DDD was gonna be the meme, and then Mario showed up without a shirt. And the internet
and no
lost
tribal
its
tattoo.
mind.
People are pissed he's not got his tribal tattoo anymore.
Yeah. They put a tribal tattoo on him, and then they put the gold chain, because that is such an Italian look. Oh my god.
What are you talking about?
I got an Italian cousin. That is exactly how he goes to the beach. I'm like, son of a bitch. Oh my god. I'm like, are you kidding me? That's perfect. Spot on. Oh man. That freaking direct with that.
Did we go off on a tangent again?
I lost track because of that, but we can go on to something else because I forgot what we was talking about. Nintendo Golf, or is it Mario Golf? The golf game that's on the Switch. Like if you go in there, there's like some file, and in every Switch is the original Nintendo Golf game, the one on the NES.
About this, yeah.
It's like, what the hell is this doing here? It's like, why is the original Nintendo Golf on there? And apparently you can use motion controls with it. Apparently you can... apparently you can, like, play the game with motion controls. Like, that's kind of cool. This is an old NES game for that. That's very interesting. And a theory that I just received before this podcast is that it might be a tribute to Iwata.
Yeah, that's what I'd heard as well.
He had to do with the programming on that. I'm like, oh, snap, yeah, okay, yeah, that's believable. Because Iwata was such a workhorse for Nintendo. Nintendo was pretty much the majority of his life. He worked there for a very long time. He potentially worked there as long as we've been alive. He's a hero for a lot of reasons when it comes to Nintendo games. We wouldn't have Earthbound in the US if it wasn't for Iwata. And I don't remember the story. I need to find it and put it in the comments.
That's a video on itself.
What Iwata did was, if I remember correctly, which I might have wrong, is when they were porting it to the US, he had to rewrite a bunch of the code or the whole thing. I can't remember right now.
That sounds about right.
Someone had to do it, and he did it. And, of course, he had a lot of background with, like, Kirby. We know Kirby's my favorite, so... And he had influence when it came to Smash Brothers. If I remember the story correctly, it is Sakurai... He's like, what about this idea, which was Smash Brothers? And Miyamoto's like, no, it sounds dumb. And Iwata's like, make it anyway. Make a build. And then Miyamoto's like, I was wrong. This is awesome. So you can thank Iwata on that. If I remember that story correctly, I could be a little off on that. If it's not Iwata, it was a different president. But somebody, maybe it wasn't president at the time, but it was somebody was like, Iwata, make it, was like, Sakurai, make it anyway. Just make it. Forget what Miyamoto said. Make it anyway. It sounds fun. And Miyamoto was like, yeah, I was wrong. I was wrong on that one. My understanding as well is Miyamoto said that this is Iwata's console, that he had a lot to do with the Switch. So I'm like, okay. So if that's a tribute to him, it sounds right. It sounds about right to me. Because, yeah, he's been around there for so long. He did a lot of work. And, again, Kirby. Like, he was a big part of that.
It keeps coming back to Kirby for you.
Oh, there's one more. There's one more I wanted to talk about. Because I was going to segue to it at some point during the Steam talk, and that is Divinity 2, like Divinity Original Sin 2.
Ah, right. Your new current obsession.
Yes. Over 85,000 concurrent for a CRPG is amazing to me. Holy crap, that's really good. Larian, they make good games. I really like Larian Studios. They're really good.
And they've basically been doing Divinity for how long now? It's
a very long time. I don't know when Divinity 1 was. Like, I fell in love with them when it came to Dragon Commander, which is a very old LP. Yeah. But I got to put a link to that too and have it in the description or in the comments to watch, because the first minute of that thing just shows you why I got sold on that game so perfectly. Or we just have Jinx cut it in right here. Dragon Commander is such an amazing game. It was really fun. And Original Sin 1. It was really good at the time when it came out. It was pretty fun. And then they kept developing it over time.
Yeah.
They kept working on it. And Divinity Original Sin now is incredible. It is an amazing game. It's worth getting, especially if you have a buddy to play with. Fully voice acted. You can move the camera around. Like, there's a lot of... The gameplay is very fun. It's just a good game. I've been dragging on making a video for Divinity Original Sin 2, because how do you make a video for a CRPG like this?
Yeah. It would have to be like first impressions would be, what, about 3-4 hours long?
We've been playing for quite a while in this game. Like, me and Jinx, this is the awesome thing about Divinity Original Sin, is you can co-op this game. And
you can do up to 4 players in 2, can't you?
In 2, you can do up to 4 players. And you can each just run off and talk to NPCs at the same time. Just do whatever you want. You can also listen in on other people's conversations. And you'll be treated differently. This is very interesting, is that, yeah, you can have all these things. You'll get the quests.
Yeah.
Like, an individual can get the quest for everybody. Because, like, you're assuming everyone's talking. Like, they're talking to each other. It's like, here's what's going on with us with the story. But they can go their separate ways. You can have a turn-based combat, where everyone else is running around elsewhere. Like, guys, can you come over here? I'm having a fight. They'll come in.
I haven't played it, but I heard the NPCs react to you differently depending on stuff like your race and things like that. You know, if you're like a necromancer, people will just be put off by you or something like that. You know,
there's every NPC has an attitude towards you. You can also have your characters have attitudes towards each other. In the original, you could have, if they're... I actually don't know if you could be gay, but male and female, you could have them fall in love together.
Yeah.
You could have your characters fall in love. I don't know if that's still in 2. I would assume it is.
It's a role-playing game. You've got to be able to role-play.
You got to be able to role-play in it. And so in this one, you can have 4 characters, and you can just be you and 3 characters, or you and your buddies.
Doesn't it have DM mode as well? There's a DM. I haven't tried it out yet, though. I'm very interested in how that works out. But there is a DM heard somebody say you could probably actually run a D&D campaign with this thing.
I'd be excited to see someone do that. I would love to see a stream of someone doing a D&D campaign with that game, because the combat system is pretty interesting. There's like 14 different styles.
Okay.
Like different skill tree, like not skill trees, but like skill sets, which they all have their own books too.
Right.
It's not necessarily a skill tree, but it's skill and then all the things that go with each skill. And there's a bunch of different stats.
This is sounding like it's going to be a very complex video when you're going to get to it.
It's such a big game. And the original was too. There was so much to it, because now we're just explaining Divinity 2. Original Sin 2, because Divinity 2 is a different game. But In the original, you could only be human. In this one, you can be 5 different races. You can be human, dwarf, elf, elf, and lizard man, or lizard, not
Right.
lizard man, there's women, lizard, and undead versions of any of those. And so you have race-based abilities, but if you're undead and one of the other ones, you have a mix of kind of both, which is interesting. And my favorite skill the undead has is play dead. They just fall over and they act like they're a pile of bones. That's my favorite move. It is the funniest thing. It's like, it will not break stealth. I wonder why it won't break stealth. That just cracks me up. But the character creator is way more advanced. It's even prettier than the first game. There's some really cool armor. There's really cool abilities. And I love the elemental system in the game because you have, like, there's water and you can freeze the water. So it's ice so people can slip on it. Or you can shock it and then people who step on it can get stunned or just get shocked and take damage from it. Then there's fire, and then you can put water on the fire, which will make steam, so you can't see past the steam, which will screw over archers. Or it can be smoke if it just burns out on its own as well. And then there's oil as well, and then there's poison. So you could explode poison with fire, and you can make fire spread with oil. I think you can make explosion as well with oil. And then there is blood, and there's blood mechanics.
Well, if you've got the undead, you've got to have some blood mechanics in there.
There's also necromancers can do things with dead bodies, and there's just so much to do in this game. And one of the new classes is a metamorph, where you can polymorph yourself and do things with it. So you can give your guy horns, and you can give them a tentacle and just hit things with the tentacle. It's very interesting. This
is definitely one of those, right? I can't do a first impressions until I've played this for 60 hours.
Yeah, it's like... The game currently has 6,336 reviews. Like, damn, people really like this game. 85,000 was the peak, and probably more now. They've sold 500,000 copies. I'm extremely happy for Larian because that's such a good game. They did a great job on it. I'm just so happy that they're succeeding with this because they make quality stuff, and they pack it so full of things. We've been playing for maybe a dozen hours, and we're still in the second area of the game. There's just so much to do with it. It's very fun. And there's just so many fun things. My favorite talent, bring that up and then I'll stop talking about this. My favorite talent you can get is Pet Pal. You can talk to animals.
Are you basically role-playing Dr. Dolittle in this game?
Yes. Like, I roll up to a dog and like, hey dog, and he's like, hi there, and he just says like very doggy things. He's like, squirrel, and then you can, that happens. That happened in the first game if I remember correctly. But like, you can pet the dog, and he's like, thanks for that, and you can feed them, you can give him a belly rub, and at one point the dog goes, I love you. He's like, oh my god, yes. And you can have there's cats as well. And, like, there's a cat who thinks he's, like, this super adventurer cat in the first game. And there's just so many funny things with the animals. And, like, you can talk to a cow, and they have, like, cow-based jokes. Or a sheep, and they have sheep-based jokes. And all these things. But what's cool about it is, it's not just a novelty. It can lead to quests. Yep. There can be animals who can lead to quests, or they could have hints to quests. And that's so awesome, because there's another mechanic which got introduced by the elves. And because the elves are kind of weird in this one, they're more, they self-flagellate, whatever the word is, where they can hurt themselves. Yeah. They're very much about the dead. They can do things with flesh, in that they can eat things and gain their memories.
Right,
it's like, well, this is a different kind of elf. I've never seen an elf like this. So you can have your elf eat somebody, and they'll learn memories about them. And I recently had them eat somebody, and they gained a skill. I'm like, holy crap, okay, this is interesting. So I'm just running around having an elf eat everything, basically. Yeah, well, anything that I'm allowed to
talk to the animals, cannibalism. This game's got everything.
Yes, and I keep talking about this game. The lizards, they have a like, humans get ingenuity or ingenious or something like that, because that's how humans are.
Yeah.
And the lizards, an innate thing they get is sophisticated. The lizards are high class as heck. They're very high class. They talk in the high class way. Like, Downton Abbey is the lizard race. That's what it is. and it's glorious.
Please tell me you're doing all the conversations with the lizards in the most upper class English accent you can muster.
I wish. Like, there's 6 pre-mades in this game. They're all very fun and interesting. Like, there's a performer bard chick, and she's also possessed by some sort of demon. She's not sure what it is. There's a super assassin elf, which is pretty fun. She threatens to murder you, which, if you're into crazy, she's your kind of crazy. Because she is very crazy. The sophisticated lizard man is just awesome. Because when you first meet him, he tries to make you his slave. He's like, "Can you cook? Can you tailor? Can you help with cleaning and things like that?" It's like, "Oh, you can? All right, you're my slave now." I was like, "What, bro? What?" Then you have like the edgelord character. He's the edgelord character. There's a very friendly dwarf. There's this dwarf, and he's just such a lovable dwarf. Like, he's very strong, he's very stout, very smart, but there's something about him where he's just really friendly with you, but also really aggressive towards things. We're like, I want him on my party. This guy sounds like fun. And then there's an undead who's very existential and doesn't care about anybody. Because he's undead, of course he's
going to be existential.
And at least that's my interpretation of it. He's like, he doesn't care about anything. He's like, I don't care. You're going to die at some point like I care. Like, you're not undead like me. I don't care about anything. I'm like, jeez, guy. And so it's a fun game.
I'm guessing that might be your opinion of it. You know, this. Oh, I just want to quickly say this, and 20 minutes later,
it might actually be 20 minutes later. It's a good game, and so yeah, check it out if you're into RPGs.
And you'll get to making the video at some point.
Yeah, I gotta make it. We could have made it a long time ago. It's a weird thing because you want to be professional, but it was like, this is too fun. We gotta keep playing it.
Just one more game.
But there's so much replay value to it because you can only have 4 people and there's 5 races.
Yeah.
And there's 6 pre-mates and you can't have them all in one run, obviously. So there's so much to play. It's really fun. So this is one of those games of the year where you could just play it all year. It feels like.
It's on your list already, is it?
It's gotta be. Hell, it is. There's no way around it. It's on the list. It's so good. I'm really happy for the company because I followed Larian for a long time. And they've made a lot of games that I've enjoyed. And they're transparent about their development.
Yeah.
And they put in a lot of work, and it's just good. It's really good stuff. So honestly, I should try to get one of them on. I should really try. Because maybe not, because it'd just be me going, dude, it's amazing. Dude, your
journalistic
awesome.
integrity. You're just gonna have to keep mental check. I can't gush. I've got to ask questions.
Oh my god, I have to. They've got to be so busy right now because they're winning so hard. But if I can get a hold of one of them, even in a couple of months, like looking back at the game, I would love to do that. I have to pursue this. I gotta try now. Thinking about it, I need to try.
Scarf's community, keep bugging him to do this.
I would love to because it's such a good game. Like it's got to be a 60-hour game. Like there's no way around it because that's how much there is. That's a game we can't LP because it's such a long game. If I could, I would, though, because it's so good. So good. And it's fully voice acted, too. So you get some amazing voice work and some hilarious delivery. Enough of that now. That's
25 minutes later.
I think that's basically a podcast, everybody. We talked about a lot of topics.
That's basically Scarf talking about Divinity for the last half.
It's just good. But we should always end out with some advice. So any new advice you think that's worthwhile for anyone going into YouTube and a little bit into Twitch, I guess, because you just started doing Twitch, so you've probably got some getting your feet in the water kind of thoughts on Twitch as well.
Yeah, I mean, at the moment, at least for myself, it's just trying to find that balance. Because obviously it's you're spreading yourself between 2 communities and they're both different kind of mindsets. Obviously YouTube, it's all, you want to try and get it perfect, but with Twitch, it's never going to be perfect because it's live TV. You've got to be spontaneous. You've got to roll with the punches and things like that. So you need to find a balance, getting your head in gear for being able to switch between the 2 kind of, mindsets, and also find a balance of, some days you will want to just concentrate on one video, but you've still got to kind of think about Twitch. And then other days you can't be asked with all the editing and things like that. You just want to play the game and you want to share that with people. So go into it thinking, right, well, I'm going to have to kind of dial back on some stuff and just try and find that balance. And it's not something you can be told what the right balance is. You've got to find it for yourself, and it's just something you've got to feel out.
Well, there you go. There's some advice right there, given to you by Jon from Killer Bits. All of his information will be found in the description. And here's something I want to try new. And stealing this from the podcast, from the co-optional, and that is anything coming up you want to mention for your channel that might get people interested, I guess.
At the moment, I'm playing a lot of Battle Chasers Night War, which comes out in about a week and a half's time. I think it's start of October, and it's one I've been keeping tabs on for a while. So I've been playing a bunch more of that, and it's a gorgeous game. It's all created by Joe Mad, who basically did it as a comic, and he was kind of lead designer and that behind all the Darksiders games. So that if you like that kind of graphic style, imagine that as turn-based RPG with this gorgeous cast of characters, rich world, great voice acting. Yeah, that's my big thing at the moment. I'm plowing a lot of time into.
Damn, I just remembered what that game is, and oh my god, that game! Yeah, it looks so good.
Yep, it is.
It looks so nice. It comes out in October.
Yeah, 3rd of October, and I had a video go up this evening, which is last week for the audience. I got wrecked by a mimic. That was unpleasant.
Oh, it's funny when you record and then you just get destroyed. It's like, well, people are gonna enjoy that.
Yep.
I didn't, but people are gonna enjoy that. There you go, everybody. We've been basically having a podcast with me, of course, LostScarf, and Jon from Killer Bits. I had fun talking. I'm sure you had fun talking.
I was just sat here listening to you talk about Divinity for a age. No, as always, it's a pleasure.
So thanks for coming by, everybody. See you next time.
Bye.